Hello. Never done something like this before, never done a book review. So this is a bit weird for me, but I just wanted to give my 2 cents on this book and what I think about it and what I think about what other people think about it and what you have to gain from reading it, basically, like why you should read it. Because how many pages is it? It's the parts you want to read is 400 pages long. And the words are pretty small and tiny and the pages are huge. So, I feel like before you read this book, you want to have a good reason to read it. So that's basically what I'm gonna try and explain. So I don't know if I already said it or not, but it was written by Robert Greene and it's a national bestseller. The reason it got my attention was I became aware of the fact that it's actually banned in some prisons. And I was like, that's interesting, a book that isn't allowed in prisons. I wonder, it's got to have some reason. The book's got to have some sort of information in it that is useful to inmates in doing, I don't know, bad things. I don't really get any of that from this. I'm not sure why they would ban it. It's not that insane. So basically, you can get or use this book for like one of two reasons. On the back, it pretty much says, like, if you want power, like if you want to use the laws like in actual real life situations and make yourself, seem more powerful, which I do believe if you like follow this strictly, not like there's no guide, but like, read the laws and use them correctly, it will make you become a more powerful person or make it seem like you're a more powerful person. Or you can read them and just defend yourself against the law. So not necessarily make yourself become more powerful, but when other people are trying to do so or trying to manipulate or take advantage of you, you can be aware that they're doing that because you read this book. And that's what I use it for. You can ask anyone that knows me. I'm not a very powerful person. I don't project myself to be someone who deserves lots of respect and all of that. But I do know about them and I do defend myself against them pretty well, I would say. But yeah, that's what I use this book for. All the people who say this book is bad and it teaches you how to manipulate people, I get where they're coming from, but it's not that bad. You have the stuff in this book happens in the world. People use these strategies, these mind games. It's just gonna happen, and you can't just sit back and say, oh no, this book is bad, don't read it, it teaches you how to manipulate people. I think it's a good thing to read this book and to become aware of the strategies people use to elevate themselves in society, or just elevate themselves in your eyes. So yeah, for everyone who says not good, teaches you how to manipulate, they're just being babies. This is just a part of life, to some of the stuff in this book. So yeah, one thing I would like to point out is that you can't follow every single law in this book. Some of them you're just not going to want to, because some of them are pretty manipulative. Like one of them is literally titled "How to Start a Cult" or how to create a cult. That's I don't think I wouldn't really. I didn't pay much attention to that chapter, but you can't follow every law because some of them contradict each other. Like one of the laws pretty much explains how you should downplay yourself and make yourself seem like more stupid and weaker and more pathetic than you actually are. Because if you're projected as someone who's very weak and just not much of a threat, you can kind of slip your way through more easily, and then you can do whatever you want with that to take advantage of people or whatever. And then another one basically tells you to wear the king's crown, if you always project yourself as someone who deserves great things and someone who is great and all of that good stuff. If you're always wearing the king's crown, the good stuff will come to you. And that's just a brief explanation. I know that may not make sense, but if you read the chapter, you can kind of get it. But yeah, then that's just an example, but there's lots of laws that kind of contradict each other. So you get to pick and choose which ones, you want to use best. But yeah, what you'll gain from reading this really is just how to become a more just mature person, a person who, can just see the world and see people and their actions more clearly. Someone who can see through words or actions and can just, go through society and not be taken advantage of, not be manipulated as easily. If you read this, if you want to use it, you can take advantage of people or manipulate them, I guess. if that's what you want to do. I mean, this book was written for that reason. That was not the only reason, but it's written for that. That's one of the main reasons. So yeah, you could become more powerful. You could make your friends do what you want them to do, and not like mind control, but like just wiggle your way through people's minds, I guess. It also like dives into history a lot. There's lots of references and stories from anywhere from the 1500s all the way up to present day. Lots of references to kings, queens, great war leaders, all that good stuff. From what I can tell, it's all real, all stuff that actually happened. So yeah, you can learn how these great and powerful people became so great and powerful, and how they kept their leadership and how they kept themselves at number one for a while. So yeah, I feel like that is valuable knowledge to gain. So that's what you could gain from it. You could also gain just a defense, like I said earlier. Like, you can just like be aware of what people are doing. You could gain a new perspective in life. This really did change my life in a way, like mentally. Like, it changed how I went about interacting with people slightly. Not with my friends, my close friends, no, but like, when it comes to like, people at work or just people in your everyday life that you run into, like you look at it differently. And you become, I guess it kind of makes you more aware. I'm not going to go into detail about what like the laws explain and like how to use them. If you want that, I think you should just buy it, read it, or go to some YouTube video that briefly explains it. But I've watched a few of those videos and they don't do the book justice. I think you have to sit down and read the book. It took me about a month to read it. I read it a little bit every day, and I got through it pretty fast. I guess a month is pretty decent for just doing it like in the morning or night. But yeah, I think it's a great book. I think there's a lot of gain from it. I think you should choose wisely as what you do with the stuff in this book. I think it can kind of I feel like some people, power crazy, narcissistic people, can get this stuff in their head and kind of go a little bonkers with it, and try to become the most powerful person in the world, which no, that's not going to happen. Like I said, like, it will give you a new perspective in life, but it won't like change it that drastically at all. It's a book, it's words. I mean, overall, this book was really good for informing me and everyone else who reads it just on the stuff people will do to take advantage of you, and how they manipulate you, and how they get ahead and keep themselves in like powerful positions and all that. But yeah, good book. I'd recommend you read it. I don't think the people who say this is a bad book that just teaches you how to manipulate and is for evil are right. I think there's some useful stuff in here that's just part of life that you just have to accept. And that's about it. Adios.